Morning, everybody. So I'm going to try and make it nice and interactive. So I'm going to get a show of hands as I go on a few things. First, I'll just briefly introduce myself. My favourite book, unfortunately, wasn't Tim's. It was something called Super Crunchers. Talked about how data's changing the world. My favourite film, Moneyball, show of hands. My wife loves it more than me, apparently. Brad Pitt is a gorgeous specimen. My third favourite thing is Betfair. Why? Because I think I can beat the system. Still trying. And I even met my wife on Match.com, having maximised my algorithm for many years. So that's a little bit about my background. Outside of work, I've got 6 kids and a very, very fruitful life. And today, I'm here to talk about data from an industry perspective. So let's start with a little bit about Very. Show of hands, anybody know Very? Few people. Show of hands, anybody know Littlewoods? Maybe more people. Did you know Very is Littlewoods? Probably not. There's a transformation over decades and centuries that I'll take you through in a second. But let me tell you a little bit about Very, our scale, and our data landscape. So Very are what is called a multi-category retailer. So Amazon, we stock absolutely everything imaginable. But we're also a financial services proposition. We offer credit to customers that need it. In 2020, our revenue was 2 billion, and we continue to grow. A few facts and stats are around our digital proposition, because we're a pure play digital retailer. We don't have any stores anymore. It's all online. So we get millions of daily visits through desktop and mobile and native apps. We have over 4 million active customers, hundreds of customer attributes, because especially if you open a credit account, there's a lot that we need to know to offer you credit. We've got over 2,000 brands from, again, across multi-categories, from electrics to fashion to beauty to sports to home and furniture. And we delivered 49 million items in 2020. And we also have a customer services where you can speak to, a helpline from regards to your retail, where's my package normally, right through to financial services. So, from a chief data officer perspective, it's really, it's a sweet shop to be able to look at that data, understand that data, and create value from it. A little bit about the history that I mentioned before. So actually, the company is over 100 years old. It was the old Littlewoods business. It moved on to shops, clicks and mortar business operation. It was the Littlewoods brand. It was the Index brand. And in 2009, took the decision to become very.co.uk and scale a digital-only proposition. So there's decades and decades of legacy or heritage, if you're speaking to investors. And also, a huge transformation over the years. In 2020, Very also took the decision to fully automate a brand new fulfillment center. So that's a fully robotic warehouse doing that 49 million parcels with, a few hundred people. It's fascinating to go and see how a data-driven, fully automated warehouse works as well. So again, the history is fantastic, the brand's fantastic, the heritage is there, but heritage for many people in the room means legacy, and legacy means complexity. So how have we navigated it? So firstly, we set ourselves up as a team with a mission, and there's 4 pillars to our data strategy and our mission. So data insight action is how we communicate the value that we hope to create across the business from data. So that's really data as an asset, we call that. So you take data, hopefully turn it into insight that can be actionable. Actually, we tend to work the other way around now. What's the action you're looking to take? What insight do we need? Therefore, what data do we need to collect and own? And also, I think you can't talk about data since 2018 without talking about trust. So, risk, privacy, security, ethics, governance, and that's our trust pillar. So as a team, we want to delight customers, so the public that shop online with very.co.uk, but we really want to empower colleagues, because those are the people that are going to delight our customers. And with this word, trusted data, products and services, and we'll bring to life why we did that in a second. Okay, so that's our mission. And very much, it's not an organizational structure. It's a strategy, it's a flow, it's a way of communicating. Data as an asset, data as a liability, getting the balance right, delighting customers and empower colleagues. Probably my favorite single slide, though, is really our vision when it comes to that value creation. I'm a hugely commercial chief data officer. That very much, I've worked in startups, I've worked in B2B, I've worked in platform, and I just think that you really got to set yourself out from the store with how are you going to create value for your organization. We're a B2C business, so it's really all about the customer. So this is our vision on a page. So we're going to take our fantastically rich data asset, we're going to push it through many different insight platforms, be it descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and also I run both qual and quant. And we're really going to power the business to take the right actions, whether that's customer-centric marketing. So, what customers do we want to acquire through which media? Things like econometrics, things like better segmentation, understanding, and targeting. Or our digital customer experience, which is our own acronym, DCX. For customer experience. So, millions of people using our websites and applications. How do we just really delight them? So knowing intent, personalizing, making better recommendations. We sort of know if you bought at 10 p.m. tonight and you come back at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're probably looking to track your parcel. By the way, that will arrive next day for those interested, up till 10 o'clock. We also help business units with better decision making. So we partner with our retail business. We've got 2,000 brands, 160,000 SKUs, and we purchase a lot of that stock ourselves. So how do we do that? That's really a mathematical challenge. So we partner with the business to really embrace, leading edge advanced analytics and data science to do predictive modeling, and really, really interesting dynamic because you've got fashion, which can be so fast paced, whereas maybe electrics and home furnishing can be a bit longer in terms of, gestation periods and how long you keep a product. So different dynamics for the different categories. And we help the business there. The same with our financial services business with credit, fraud, predictions. And last but not least, we're a customer-centric business, lots of customers, so how do we support them? Either through our chatbot or more and more into virtual assistants and AR and augmented reality. And I think we've just implemented a new way of understanding the lipstick color that's perfect for you. So give that a go soon. So data, insight, action is how we think about the value creation, but it's really complex. So trying to communicate a data strategy that really drives value is complex because you've got a lot of technicality, a lot of data, and a business community that maybe don't understand it. So what we've tried to do to make it simple to communicate is productize our products and services that we can offer. And out in the business, our business people really start to understand what these mean. And they'll actually say, well, actually, Steve, what we want is a trusted cube. Or we want a pipeline because we want to push our data into a target system. Or I'm really interested in the single customer view and how I can leverage it or maybe integrate with it to build it out further. So again, we've sort of productized the vision to make the communication easier. And that's really helped integrate technology, data, and the business to form one team. A little bit about an organizational and operating model perspective. So I've been at Very for a couple of years. And really when I arrived, it was very much, they said data was democratized. I called it chaos. So there was no hub, so there was nothing at the center in terms of, and that doesn't mean fully centralized, that just means we've got 5 centers of excellence with competency that, buy the right tools, look for the right skills, offer great career development for those individuals, but we very much use it as a partner structure. So whether it's helping retail with forecasting, financial services with credit prediction, customer experience with personalization, marketing with better decision making, we have this hub and spoke model that works really, really well from an organizational and operating model perspective. So talking about one of the complexities that I had when I joined was very much back to that heritage and legacy. So what did we inherit? Who remembers Top Trumps? I still play that with my kids. Top Trumps. Now, the great thing about Top Trumps is, you can deal the cards and you can say, well, my lad's into FIFA 2023 at the minute, so everybody's got a card about, whether Ronaldo's better than Messi. And you can sort of play, Top Trumps in a, really trusted environment, unless you've created your own Top Trump cards. So everybody's got a Messi, and they've all got different scores. That's what I inherited at Very, because it was very much multiple business units with no hub. Each and every one of them had, a different definition of an active customer, or a return, or whatever it may be. So multiple registers, and don't forget, because of the heritage, I had, Great Universal, Index, Littlewoods, Very, all different brands, and we still operate Littlewoods in Ireland. Really, really, really siloed data, lots of different glossaries and data definitions. Time to insight, well, it was really quick for your own Top Trumps, because they just created them. But actual trusted, centralized, understood, with the right context took a long time. Really hard to govern, because if you were going to do an audit, nobody really knew where the data was, but they had an Excel spreadsheet that said they knew where it was, which was out of date because Bob only updated it 3 months ago. There was limited data stewardship at the level that you really need if one of your data pillars is trust and you want to derive value from data. So that's really the problem statement, and I think I've been taught from some guest speaker, I think you stand on the right with the problem statement. So I'll wave at you as the problem statement. I'm going to talk about Alation, the solution. So what is Alation? So for us, it was an education for everybody in terms of that data catalog. So what is a data catalog? And I think I'm not going to try and correct everyone in terms of their knowledge. But for us, we had to educate what it was to the business. So Alation was very much seen as the solution to the problem that was siloed data, very much no collaboration, really difficult to audit, really complex, and to comply with things like GDPR, to understand where your PII data is. It also was a solution for improving the trust around the community. So we've got many, many different cloud solutions and vendors, and we had 250,000 tables in a Teradata estate that nobody really understood. And we've got Redshift, and we've got S3, and we've got Oracle, and we've got Salesforce. So how can Bob, who was a new analyst, understand where to start? He probably just asked Mary, and Mary would say, use my trusted data sets over here, as opposed to collaborate on the actual truth that you need. It accelerated that onboarding for analysts and data scientists into Very. So time to insight, time to onboarding increased massively. And also, there was a general reduction of cost, storage, and we have been doing cloud migrations as well, so it helped with that. And massively starting to help with lineage, through that legacy, where does the data actual flow and how can you understand that? All of that, but it also fitted our culture. So we're a very, very agile business. We're organized into tribes and squads and domains. And the Google interface and the collaboration that Alation gave us really, really, really fitted our culture. So it allowed us to have a single entry point, a single pane of glass, allowed us to define data dictionaries, data glossaries, allowed us to understand where our data was, understand where our reports were, and sort of galvanize everybody. And we didn't matter that we were distributed. And again, so the hub and spoke model really working well. We talked about how do we measure our success. And actually, someone the other day has now said, oh, we've changed it round because some clever person in the team has now called it the T-curve. So you can have that one. But in terms of measuring our T-curve, it fits really well because if you think about, we talk a lot about initiatives in terms of the T model, i.e. you want breadth and depth. So it fits really well. So how do we measure success? And what do we look at? So the first thing is we sort of want usage. So now you can't just tell people to use the platform, just use that, log on every day. But we measure that, we understand it, and we start to look where people are using it and why, and really emphasize the value that people are getting from usage. So it tends to be visits and searches and the conversations that they're having through the articles. We measure curation, because how many stewards are self-identifying themselves as stewards for tables, and also how we are starting to score some of the objects, tables, schemas, etc. A big part of why we bought Alation to start with was that risk element. If you don't know where your data is, you certainly are going to struggle to be fully audited. So how much PAI have we got? Is it managed? We also look at change velocity and also, the intents of the lineage, which tables are used the most in which particular flows, so we can reduce and manage our risk. Trust is massive. It's part of our 4 pillars and strategy. So we do want the stewardship community, analysts and data science to use the most trusted data sets, rather than the ones that have been built on the side that aren't really supported, probably not secure, haven't got the right privacy models. So we very much, endorsements, some of the warning systems, and trust check, which is part of the package. And last but not least, the whole thing in our model for data insight action is how do we create value. So we measure, where we've used Alation, has it helped with staff onboarding? It's part of our after 3 months, once you've been at Very, we sort of ask for a bit of feedback. If you're a new analyst, what did you use? How did you use it? And we can see, time to insight, time to knowledge going up. The other dynamic is just generally a storage cost, so it's helping us with migration, switching stuff off, decluttering, and just managing the various ecosystems that we're connected to. So hopefully that gives you a flavor for before Alation and after Alation as a stark difference. It's a really small team. Charlene gives a wave. So Charlene runs a hub team that is a data governance and operations team to help all the various spokes across the organization to understand their data, understand how to be compliant, understand how to drive value, stop making your own top trumps, contribute to our data strategy of data insight action to drive value. So just to summarize, very much Alation has just become a huge part of our ecosystem, really because it connects everybody. It connects everybody to the data, it connects everybody to the insight, but it allows collaboration. And I think for me, that's one of the big benefits of the Alation platform, is not the software solution, and I'm not a huge fan of pointing at a solution to a business problem because it's normally cultural and process, but it really does help people understand, collaborate around the complexity that's out there with data distribution, analytics distribution. So it's really helped us with our trust pillar. Why is that so important to us? Because we can really drive value from our assets in that data insight action flow, hopefully delighting customers and definitely empowering colleagues across Very. So at that point, I'll hand you back to Steve, I think. Thank you very much.